Hello everyone. Tonight, we begin with a question about the Bermuda Triangle, a stretch of ocean where ships vanish without a trace. Is there a supernatural force at play? You're standing on the deck of a 1918 ship, the USS Cyclops, its steel hull creaking beneath your boots, the Atlantic Ocean stretching around you in the heart of the triangle, a churning expanse of deep blue under a stormy sky. The air's thick with salt and the sharp tang of ozone, a cold wind whipping your woolen coat as dark clouds loom on the horizon, their edges flickering with lightning. Let's be honest, you might not stay awake for this perilous voyage, but the sailors here faced mysteries that would chill your bones. Before you snuggle into your blanket, hit like on the video and comment where you're watching from. And what time it is there. It's so fun to know who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're gripping the ship's icy rail, the waves below whispering tales of vanishings, their foam a ghostly white against the darkening sea. The Bermuda Triangle, a region between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, became infamous for disappearances like the USS Cyclops in 1918, which vanished with 309 souls, and Flight 19 in 1945. A squadron of planes lost without a trace, fueling theories from magnetic anomalies to supernatural forces. Mainstream history debates the causes, rogue waves, human error, or something stranger supported by naval records and oceanographic studies. You tilt your head back, stars like Orion struggling to pierce the storm clouds, their patterns a map for sailors who dared these waters. Imagine losing your way out here, eerie, isn't it? Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors claimed the triangle's storms sang a haunting hum in the wind that warned of danger, a tale whispered on ships like the Cyclops. Picture James, a young sailor, with a brass compass hanging from his belt. Listening now, his ear tilted to the gale eyes half closed as he murmurs, "It's calling." Historians still argue whether this was superstition or a sailor's instinct. Could the wind really sing a warning, yet ships vanished without distress? Calls? So maybe James's wind held a note of truth. You're pacing to the deck, the ship's timbers groaning with each wave, the steel rail cold under your hands as the storm grows closer. Its rumble, a distant drum. Sailors like those on the Cyclops were navigators, their minds holding charts no storm could erase, or so they thought. Captain Amos, a grizzled veteran with a cedar pipe clenched in his teeth, stands at the helm, his voice barking orders over the wind, his woolen cap soaked as he adjusts the wheel. His calm steadies James, who's checking his compass, its needle steady. For now, his hands trembling as he learns the triangle's dangers. "The sea tests us," Amos says, his tone gruff but steady. You try listening to the wind, but it's just a howl, a mystery wrapped in salt. Picture holding James's brass compass. How does its heavy weight feel? Dr. Elena, a modern oceanographer you'll meet later, would marvel at this moment. Her bronze sextant, a bridge to these sailors' fears. The crew's murmurs weave with the waves' roar, their woolen coats dripping as they secure ropes, their faces etched with a mix of duty and dread, the storm a looming shadow of the triangle's wrath. Navigation wasn't just skill, it was survival in stars, sextants, and sailors' lore, a bond you'll soon explore. The crew points at a flickering star. Maybe Sirius, before clouds swallow it, a guide lost in the triangle's grip. James hesitates, then points too, earning Amos's nod. "Good lad," he says, his pipe puffing smoke. You're starting to feel their world, not just a ship, but a quest chasing a mystery as old as the sea. The stars fade, the storms hum deeper, and you settle against the rail, the ship rocking like a cradle, ready to sail into the Bermuda Triangle's secrets, one whispered wave at a time. You're still on the deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull groaning beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean churns around you. Its deep blue waves swelling in the heart of the Bermuda Triangle, their rhythm a restless pulse under a stormy sky. The air's heavy with salt, and the sharp sting of ozone, a cold wind tugging at your woolen coat, carrying the distant rumble of thunder as dark clouds loom closer, their edges flickering with lightning. You're gripping the icy rail, feeling the ocean's strange currents, the same mysterious pull that might have swallowed ships like this one in 1918. You're about to sense the triangle's eerie grip, where the sea itself seems to whisper secrets of the lost. Can you feel the waves' unsettling rhythm? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle, spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has claimed over 50 ships and 20 planes since the 19th century, with theories like rogue waves and methane gas eruptions attempting to explain the vanishings, though oceanographic data remains inconclusive as of 2025. You're watching the waves now, their crests curling with an unnatural force, as if guided by an unseen hand, their foam a ghostly white against the darkening sea. Captain Amos, his cedar pipe clenched in his teeth, stands at the helm, his eyes narrowing as he feels the ship veer slightly despite a steady wheel. "The currents fight us," he mutters, his voice gruff over the wind. You try feeling the ocean's pull, leaning over the rail. The waves' rhythm, a hypnotic, almost deliberate tug, as if the triangle itself is alive. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors swore the triangle's waters glowed at night, a faint blue shimmer, signaling danger, a tale whispered among crews like the Cyclops. James, the young sailor with a brass compass at his belt, points to the waves, now his eyes wide, whispering, "It's glowing. See it," as a faint luminescence dances in the water. Historians still argue whether this was bioluminescence or myth. Could the sea really glow with warning? But vanishings often happened at night, so maybe James's glow held a shimmer of truth. You're swaying with the ship, the waves' cadence blending with the wind's howl. The storm's approach, a looming shadow as the crew's murmurs grow tense, their woolen coats soaked with spray. Amos adjusts the wheel, his cedar pipe puffing smoke, his voice barking orders to tighten the sails, his weathered hands steady despite the ship's odd drift. The triangle plays tricks. He tells James, who clutches his compass, its needle steady for now, his hands trembling as he learns the sea's moods. You recall the cenote's sacred waters in Tikal, but this feels wilder, untamed, the ocean, a living enigma. Sailors tracked currents named like old foes, each with a temper. A steady westward flow meant safe passage. A sudden shift could spell doom. You lean over the rail again, hoping to sense the glow, but it's just foam and shadow. Picture dipping your hand into the wave. How does its icy grip feel? Amos's pipe smoke curls in the wind, his voice firm. The sea tests the wary. The crew's shouts weave with the wave's roar, James sketching a wave's curl on a scrap of paper, capturing its shape as if to tame it, his compass swinging as he moves. Amos points to a faint ripple, sharper than the rest, and says, "That's its pull." You try sensing it, but it's like reading a codex in a storm, elusive and strange. They watched for sea signs too, sharks circling a sudden calm glowing waters. Spot a drifting plank. Danger might loom perhaps an hour off. You're starting to see the ocean as they did not empty but alive, every wave a clue. Kenich's glyphs come to mind, but James's sketch feels different, urgent, as if he's charting the triangle's next victim. Suddenly, a wave surges higher, its crest frothing with that faint blue glow, and the ship lurches, the crew shouting as they brace against the rail, you among them, heart racing as the water sprays your face, the glow vanishing as quickly as it came. Amos's pipe falls, his voice sharp. Hold fast, James pale grips his compass, its needle now twitching, his sketch forgotten in the spray. The storm's rumble grows louder. The triangle's grip tightening, a harbinger of the vanishings to come. You're caught in their tension. The ship, a fragile shield against the sea's mystery, their resolve enduring. You think back to the starlit deck, its eerie calm now a distant hope in this storm. The waves roar deeper, the ship's groan, a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail, trusting their vigilance, James's trembling sketch, Amos's gruff command to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle one uneasy wave at a time. You're still on the deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull creaking beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean roars around you in the Bermuda Triangle, its deep blue waves crashing against the ship with a relentless fury under a stormy sky. The air's heavy with salt, and the sharp bite of ozone, a cold wind slicing through your woolen coat, carrying the rumble of thunder as lightning flashes on the horizon, illuminating the churning sea. You're clutching a brass compass, its needle spinning wildly in your hand, a victim of the triangle's strange magnetic storms, a phenomenon that might have doomed ships like this one in 1918. You're about to witness the eerie failure of navigation tools, where the sea itself seems to defy the laws of nature. Can you feel the disorienting pull of the unknown? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle, spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been linked to magnetic anomalies with naval records from the USS Cyclops 1918 disappearance and modern studies in 2025, showing compass deviations due to geomagnetic fluctuations, though some attribute vanishings to human error or storms. You're watching the compass now, its needle jittering between north and nowhere, refusing to settle as the ship veers off course, despite Captain Amos's steady hand at the wheel. Amos, his cedar pipe clenched in his teeth, squints at the horizon, his voice gruff over the wind. It's the triangle's trick. Damn the needle. You're caught in the moment. The compass's failure. A chilling echo of the ocean's strange currents. You felt earlier, a sign of the triangle's unsettling grip. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believed the triangle's magnetic storms were sea spirits dancing their mischief, causing compasses to spin a tale, whispered on ships like the Cyclops. James, the young sailor with the brass compass, holds it up now, his eyes wide, whispering, "They're dancing. I feel it." Historians still argue whether this was superstition or a sailor's way of explaining anomalies. Could spirits spin a needle? But compasses failed in the triangle, so maybe James's spirits held a flicker of eerie truth. You're swaying with the ship, the compass's wild spin, blending with the storm's howl. The crew's shouts growing tense as they scramble to adjust the sails, their woolen coats soaked with spray. Amos pulls his cedar pipe from his mouth, barking orders to check the sextant, his weathered hands gripping the wheel as the ship lurches again, the horizon vanishing in a wall of fog. "We're blind," he growls, his voice a mix of frustration and grit. You try steadying the compass, but its needle dances like a leaf in the wind, a mystery as baffling as the glowing waves you saw. Picture holding the brass compass closer. How does its frantic spin feel in your trembling hand? James, his face pale, sketches the needle's motion on his soggy paper, his hands shaking as he learns the triangle's dangers. The crew's panic rises, their voices, a ragged chorus against the storm. You among them, your voice a shaky thread in their shouts. The ship's course now a guess as the fog thickens, swallowing the stars you glimpsed earlier. Balaam's star paths in Tikal come to mind. But here the sky offers no guide, the triangle's magnetic chaos, a silent saboteur. Much like the drought that plagued the Maya, sailors relied on tools, compasses, sextants, star charts. But in the triangle, they faltered their trust in steel and glass betrayed by forces unseen. Amos points to a faint light in the fog, a mirage or a beacon, his pipe puffing smoke as he mutters, "Steer for it best we've got." You're struck by their grit, a resilience born of necessity, their navigation a dance with the unknown. Like the Maya's desperate prayers in the storm, suddenly a crack of lightning splits the sky, closer, now illuminating the fog in a blinding flash, and the ship shudders the compass needle, spinning faster as if caught in a spectral waltz. The crew gasps James, dropping his paper, his compass clattering to the deck, and you grab his arm, steadying him as the thunder rolls, shaking the hull. Hold fast. Amos roars, his cedar pipe falling as he grips the wheel, his voice a lifeline in the chaos. The fog thickens, the light vanishing, and you're caught in their struggle. The ship a fragile shield against the triangle's wrath, their resolve a flickering hope. You think back to the ocean's glowing waves, their eerie shimmer now a partner to this magnetic storm. The waves crash harder, the ship's groan a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail, trusting their fight James's frantic sketch. Amos's gruff command to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle, one chaotic turn at a time. You're still on the deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull trembling beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean rages around you in the Bermuda Triangle, its dark waves crashing with a relentless fury under a stormy sky now blackened by night. The air's thick with salt, and the electric tang of lightning, a cold wind slicing through your woolen coat, carrying the howl of the gale as thunder rumbles closer, shaking the ship. You're gripping the icy rail, gazing upward, where the stars, like Orion, which you glimpsed before, should guide the way. But the sky is a void, swallowed by roiling clouds that obscure every celestial marker, leaving the crew lost in the triangle's grip. You're about to witness the disorienting loss of the stars, where navigation falters in the face of the sea's mysterious wrath. Can you feel the dread of a starless night? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle, a region between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been a graveyard for navigation since at least the 19th century, with logs from ships like the USS Cyclops in 1918, describing sudden storms and compass failures often linked to the area's unpredictable weather patterns, though some speculate atmospheric distortions as of 2025. You're searching the sky now, desperate for Orion's familiar belt or Sirius's steady glow. But the clouds are a suffocating shroud, their darkness a mirror of the ocean's depths. The ship's course, a blind guess. Captain Amos, his cedar pipe back in his mouth after the last scare, squints upward, his voice gruff over the wind. No stars, no way forward. Damn this place. You're caught in the moment. The absence of stars, a chilling echo of the compass's wild spin. You saw the triangle's grip tightening like a noose. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believed the triangle's clouds stole the stars, a curse from sea spirits, to blind their path, a tale whispered on the Cyclops' decks. James, the young sailor, clutches his brass compass, still useless, his eyes darting to the sky, whispering, "They've taken them." I knew it. Historians still argue whether this was fear or folklore. Could clouds truly curse a ship? But navigation failures plagued the triangle, so perhaps James's curse held a shadow of truth. You're swaying with the ship, the winds howl, drowning out the crew's murmurs, their woolen coats soaked as they secure the sails, their faces pale in the lantern light. The storm, a relentless foe. Amos pulls his pipe from his mouth, barking orders to hold course by dead reckoning, his weathered hands gripping the wheel as the ship lurches through the waves. "We'll feel our way," he growls, his voice a mix of grit and defiance. You try spotting a star through the clouds, but it's like searching for a candle in a gale, a mystery as baffling as the glowing waves you glimpsed earlier. Picture holding a lantern aloft. How does its flickering light feel against the darkness, James? His face ashen, scribbles a note on his soggy paper, his hands trembling as he marks the time. March 4th, 1918, 11:14. Learning the triangle's terror, the crew's shouts rise, a ragged chorus against the storm. You among them. Your voice, a shaky thread in their cries. The ship's lanterns swinging wildly, casting shadows that dance like ghosts. The starless sky a suffocating weight, much like the drought's silence in Tikal. Sailors relied on stars, Orion for bearings, Sirius for hope, but in the triangle they vanished, their trust in the sky, betrayed by forces unseen, leaving only instinct and prayer. Amos points to a faint shimmer in the fog, a mirage, or a trick, his pipe puffing smoke, as he mutters, "Steer for it, it's all we've got." You're struck by their desperation, a resilience born of necessity. Their navigation, a gamble with the unknown, echoing the Maya's pleas to Chayak. Suddenly, a gust, stronger than the rest, tears through the ship, tilting sharply, and a lantern shatters on the deck. Its flame snuffed out as the crew scrambles, you grabbing the rail to steady yourself. Heart racing as the fog thickens, swallowing even the shimmer Amos chased. James drops his paper, his brass compass swinging wildly, and you catch his arm, his eyes wide with terror as he shouts, "We're lost over the gale." Amos's voice cuts through his cedar pipe clenched. "Hold steady, lad, the storm rages, the starless sky a void, and you're caught in their fear, the ship, a fragile speck in the triangle's wrath, their hope, a flickering ember." You think back to the magnetic storm, its chaos now, a partner to this darkness. The waves roar louder, the ship's groan a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail, trusting their grit. James's trembling note, Amos's gruff command to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle, one blind turn at a time. You're still on the storm-battered deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull shuddering beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean surges around you in the Bermuda Triangle, its dark waves crashing with a relentless fury under a starless, stormy sky. The air is biting with salt and the electric sting of lightning. A cold wind tearing at your woolen coat, carrying the rumble of thunder. As the ship lurches through the fog, its lanterns swinging wildly in the gale. You're gripping a rope to steady yourself, the deck slick with rain, when you hear Captain Amos's gruff voice calling for James, the young sailor, to join him at the helm, where a lantern's dim glow reveals the captain's weathered face, his cedar pipe clenched tight. You're about to witness a 1918 lesson in the Triangle's dangers, a moment of mentorship amidst the chaos where a boy learns the sea's treacherous ways. Can you feel the weight of James's initiation? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle claimed ships like the USS Cyclops in 1918, with naval logs from the era describing crews unprepared for the region's sudden storms and navigation failures, often leading to vanishings without distress, calls a pattern studied well into 2025. You're watching James now, his brass compass swinging at his belt, his woolen coat soaked as he hurries to Amos's side, his hands trembling as he grips the helm's edge, eyes wide with fear. Amos, his pipe puffing smoke, despite the rain, points to the fog-shrouded horizon. His voice, a low growl over the wind. "Watch the waves. Lad, stars won't save us now." You're caught in the moment. The lesson. A stark echo of the starless sky. You witnessed the triangle's grip. A relentless teacher, much like Balaam's star charts into call. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believed the triangle's storms carried ghost voices, whispers of lost crews, warning the living, a tale shared on the Cyclops' decks. James listens now, his ear tilted to the wind, his voice shaky as he whispers, "I hear them. They're calling us." Historians still argue whether this was fear or phenomenon. Could the wind whisper warnings? But the Cyclops vanished without a trace. So maybe James's voices held a haunting truth. You're bracing against the rail, the ship's roll blending with the storm's roar. The crew's shouts, a ragged chorus as they secure the sails, their woolen coats dripping their faces, pale in the lantern light. Amos steadies the wheel, his cedar pipe a faint glow, his voice firm as he teaches James to feel the ship's drift, to guess the course by the waves' push. A skill born of necessity in the triangle's chaos. "She'll tell you where to go," he says, his tone gruff but steady. You try feeling the ship's motion, but it's a riddle, like navigating without stars, a skill as vital as the Maya's cenote divinations. Picture holding James' brass compass. How does its useless needle feel in your hand, James? His face ashen. Scribbles the time, March 4th, 1918, 11:34 p.m. On his soggy paper, his hands shaking as he learns. The crew's murmurs weave with the gale, their voices a mix of dread and duty. You among them, your voice a shaky thread in their shouts, the ship's lanterns casting shadows that flicker like specters, the fog a suffocating veil, much like the drought's silence into call. Sailors learn through storms, currents for direction, waves for warnings, but in the triangle, every lesson was a gamble, their trust in the sea a fragile hope. Amos points to a faint ripple sharper than the rest, his pipe puffing smoke as he mutters, "That's trouble, steer clear." You're struck by their bond, a mentorship forged in peril, their navigation a dance with the unknown, echoing the Maya's desperate prayers in the storm. Suddenly, a gust howls louder, the ship tilting sharply, and a rope snaps its end, whipping across the deck, narrowly missing James as he ducks his paper, flying into the sea, his brass compass swinging wildly. You grab his arm, steadying him as the crew shouts, heart racing, as the fog thickens the ship's course, a blind guess. Hold the helm. Amos roars his cedar pipe, falling as he grips the wheel, his voice a lifeline in the chaos. The storm rages, the fog a shroud, and you're caught in their struggle, the ship a fragile speck in the triangle's wrath, their hope a flickering ember. You think back to the compass's wild spin, its failure now a partner to this storm. The waves crash harder, the ship's groan a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail, trusting their grit, James's trembling hands, Amos's gruff command to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle, one perilous lesson at a time. You're still on the storm-ravaged deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull creaking beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean surges around you in the Bermuda Triangle, its dark waves slamming against the ship with a relentless roar under a starless, stormy sky. The air's frigid, saturated with salt, and the metallic tang of lightning, a fierce wind tearing at your woolen coat, carrying the howl of the gale as thunder rumbles, shaking the ship to its core. You're gripping a rope to keep your balance, the deck slick with rain, when you hear Captain Amos's gruff command to to gather the crew for a maritime ritual, their woolen coats dripping as they form a circle under a swinging lantern, their faces pale with dread. You're about to join a 1918 sailor's rite, feeling the eerie weight of their superstitions as they plead for the sea's mercy in the triangle's wrath. Can you sense the chill of their fear? Mainstream history notes that sailors in the Bermuda Triangle, particularly in the early 20th century, like on the USS Cyclops in 1918, often turned to rituals during storms with logs and oral histories describing offerings to appease sea spirits, a practice rooted in maritime lore. Though modern studies in 2025 attribute vanishings to natural phenomena like rogue waves. You're standing in the circle now, the crew's voices, a ragged chant to the sea gods, their hands clutching small tokens, shells, coins, a carved fish as they toss them into the waves, a plea for safe passage. Amos, his cedar pipe clenched, despite the rain leads the right, his voice, a deep growl over the storm. Spirits of the deep spare us, you're caught in the ritual's gravity. The lanterns flicker, casting ghostly shadows, a stark contrast to the Maya cacao, offering in Tikal's temple this plea born of dread, not devotion. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believe the triangle's spirits drank their offerings, the tokens vanishing into the waves as a sign of acceptance, a tale shared on the Cyclops decks. James, the young sailor, tosses a carved fish, now his brass compass swinging at his belt. His voice shaky as he whispers, "They took it." Look as the token disappears beneath a wave. Historians still argue whether this was imagination or ritual. Could the sea accept a gift? But the Cyclops vanished without a trace. So perhaps James's offering held a flicker of desperate hope. You're swaying with the ship, the crew's chant blending with the storm's roar, their woolen coats dripping as they raise their hands, you among them, your voice a trembling thread in their plea, the waves crashing with a hunger that feels alive, much like the drought's grip in Tikal. Amos scatters salt into the sea, his cedar pipe puffing smoke, his voice invoking the spirits to calm the gale, his weathered hands steady despite the ship's violent roll. "We honor you," he shouts, his tone a mix of defiance and fear. You try joining the chant, but the words are a mystery, like a hymn lost in the wind. Picture holding James's carved fish. How does its wooden weight feel in your storm-chilled hand? The crew's faces lit by the lantern are etched with terror, their ritual a fragile shield against the triangle's fury. The villagers know. The sailors tighten their circle, their chant growing frantic. James clutching his compass, its needle still useless, his hands trembling as he learns the triangle's superstitions, a lesson as vital as the helm training you saw. Suddenly, a wave surges higher, its crest frothing with a ghostly glow, and the ship tilts sharply, the lantern swinging its light nearly snuffed. As the crew gasps, you grabbing the rail to steady yourself, heart racing as the wave crashes over the deck, soaking the circle. They hear us. James cries, his carved fish long gone, his voice breaking with hope and fear. Amos, a pipe falls, his voice roaring, "Hold fast, lads, the storm rages, the glow vanishing," and you're caught in their desperation. The ship, a fragile speck in the triangle's wrath, their ritual a flickering plea, echoing the Maya's storm prayer. You think back to the compass's failure, its chaos now a partner to this eerie rite. The waves roar louder, the ships groan, a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail, trusting their faith, James's trembling offering, Amos's gruff chant to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle, one desperate plea at a time. You're still on the storm-tossed deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull groaning beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean surges around you in the Bermuda Triangle, its dark waves pounding the ship under a sky now fractured by lightning. the storm's fury unrelenting in this 1918 night. The air's frigid heavy with salt, and the electric tang of ozone, a fierce wind tearing at your woolen coat, carrying the howl of the gale as thunder shakes the ship, the lantern light flickering like a dying ember. You're clutching a bronze sextant, its cold metal trembling in your hands. But the tool, like the compass, before it fails its readings, skewed by the triangle's strange forces. A phenomenon that might have doomed this very ship. You're about to witness the failure of navigation tools, where the sea's mysteries defy every attempt to chart a course. Can you feel the creeping dread of being lost? Mainstream history highlights that the Bermuda Triangle's navigation challenges, as experienced by ships like the USS Cyclops in 1918, often involved equipment failures, with naval logs noting sextant errors and compass deviations attributed to geomagnetic anomalies or atmospheric distortions by modern studies in 2025. Though some still speculate on supernatural interference. You're trying to use the sextant now, aiming for a star, any star. But the clouds you saw earlier remain a suffocating shroud, and the tool's readings swing wildly, refusing to align, as if the triangle itself warps the very laws of navigation. Captain Amos, his cedar pipe lost in the storm, stands at the helm, his voice a growl over the wind. Damn thing's useless. Throw it overboard. You're caught in the moment, the sextant's failure a chilling echo of the compass's wild spin and the starless sky, the triangle's grip a relentless puzzle. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believe the triangle's forces cursed their tools, whispering that the sea spirits breathed chaos into metal, a tale shared on the Cyclops' decks. James, the young sailor, grips his brass compass, still useless, his eyes darting to your sextant, whispering, "They've hexed it. I knew it." Historians still argue whether this was panic or perception. Could spirits curse a sextant? But navigation tools failed in the triangle, so perhaps James's curse held a flicker of eerie truth. You're swaying with the ship, the sextant's erratic swing, blending with the storm's roar. The crew shouts a frantic chorus as they scramble to secure the sails, their woolen coats dripping, their faces pale in the lantern's fading light. Amos pulls off his soaked cap, barking orders to rely on the ship's log and memory, his weathered hands gripping the wheel as the ship lurches through the waves, the fog thicker than ever. "We're sailing blind," he roars, his voice a mix of fury and grit. You try adjusting the sextant, but its readings are nonsense, a mystery as baffling as the glowing waves you glimpsed echoing the Maya's struggle with a drought-stricken cenote. Picture holding the bronze sextant tighter. How does its cold, useless weight feel in your storm-numbed hands, James, his face ashen, scribbles the time, March 4th, 1918, 11:44 p.m. on a new scrap of paper, his hands trembling as he learns the triangle's terror. The crew's panic surges their voices, a desperate plea against the gale. You among them. Your voice, a shaky thread in their cries, the ship's lanterns swinging wildly, casting shadows that flicker like ghosts. The fog a suffocating veil, much like the silence after Tikal's fall. Sailors depended on tools, sextants for stars, compasses for north. But in the triangle, they faltered their trust in metal, betrayed by forces unseen, leaving only instinct and prayer, a parallel to the Maya's reliance on glyphs in crisis. Amos points to a faint shimmer in the fog, a mirage or trick, his voice firm. Steer for it. It's all we've got. You're struck by their desperation, a resilience born of necessity, their navigation a gamble with the unknown. Echoing the Maya's pleas to Chayak. Suddenly, a massive wave looms its crest, towering over the mast, and the ship tilts violently. the sextant slipping from your hands, clattering to the deck as the crew shouts, you grabbing the rail to steady yourself, heart racing as the wave crashes, soaking the deck in icy water. James drops his paper, his brass compass swinging wildly, and you catch his arm, his eyes wide with terror as he yells, "It's taking us over the gale." Amos's voice cuts through his hands, iron on the wheel. Hold fast, lads. The storm rages, the waves roar. A deafening force, and you're caught in their struggle. The ship, a fragile speck in the triangle's wrath. Their hope a flickering ember. You think back to the eerie ritual, its plea now a partner to this chaos. The waves crash harder, the ship's groan a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail, trusting their grit. James's trembling hands, Amos's gruff command to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle, one desperate moment at a time. You're still on the battered deck of the USS Cyclops, the steel hull quaking beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean unleashes its fury in the Bermuda Triangle, its dark waves towering around you. On this 1918 night, the storm's wrath a deafening roar under a sky fractured by lightning, the air's icy drenched in salt, and the sharp tang of ozone, a fierce wind tearing at your woolen coat, carrying the howl of the gale as thunder shakes the ship, the lantern light snuffed out by the tempest. You're gripping the rail with white knuckles, the deck awash with icy water, when a rogue wave looms its monstrous crest, curling like a predator's jaw, threatening to swallow the ship whole in the triangle's deadly grip. You're about to face the storm's ultimate test, where the sea's raw power could spell the Cyclops' doom. Can you feel the terror of the wave's approach? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico has been linked to rogue waves, sudden massive swells up to 100 feet, responsible for vanishings like the USS Cyclops in 1918. With oceanographic studies in 2025 confirming these waves' frequency in the region often triggered by converging currents and storms. You're staring at the wave now, its crest a frothing white wall against the black sky. The ship tilting dangerously as the crew scrambles their woolen coats, soak their shouts lost in the storm's roar. Captain Amos, his cedar pipe long gone, clings to the wheel, his voice a desperate roar over the wind. Brace for impact. You're caught in the moment, the wave's sheer power, a chilling echo of the navigation failures, the spinning compass, the useless sextant, the starless sky, each a step toward this deadly climax, much like the Maya's battle in Tikal's jungle. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believed rogue waves were sea beasts, their crests the jaws of spirits seeking to devour ships, a tale whispered on the Cyclops decks. James, the young sailor, clutches his brass compass, still useless, his eyes wide with terror, shouting, "It's a beast! I see its teeth as the wave's foam sprays like fangs." Historians still argue whether this was fear or folklore. Could a wave be a spirit? But the Cyclops vanished without a trace, so perhaps James's beast held a monstrous truth. You're bracing against the rail, the waves roar drowning out the crew's cries, you among them, your voice a trembling thread in their panic. The ship's timbers groaning as the deck tilts further, the icy water soaking your boots, much like the drought's despair in Tikal. Amos wrestles the wheel, his hands iron, despite the storm's assault, his voice a lifeline. "Hold fast, lads," James, his face ashen, ties a rope around his waist, his compass swinging wildly as he secures himself to the mast, his hands trembling as he learns the triangle's ultimate lesson: survival. You try to help, but the ship lurches, and you grab a rope, your heart pounding as the wave towers higher. Picture holding the rope tighter. How does its coarse weave feel in your storm-numbed hands, The crew's faces lit by flashes of lightning are etched with dread. Their ritual's plea now a distant memory, overwhelmed by the sea's wrath. The wave strikes a wall of water crashing over the deck, and the ship tilts nearly vertical. The force ripping a sail free, its canvas whipping into the night as you're thrown against the rail. Water flooding your lungs, the cold a brutal shock. You cling to the rope, gasping as the ship rights itself, shuddering but intact. The waves roar, fading into the storm's howl. The crew shouting in relief. You among them. Your voice, a ragged cry. The ship, a fragile survivor in the triangle's grip, echoing the Maya's resilience in their battle. James, soaked and trembling, clutches the mast, his compass lost to the sea. His voice breaking. We made it. Amos, his hand still on the wheel, nods, his voice raw. Not yet, lad. Not yet. You're caught in their survival. The ship, a battered shield against the triangle's fury, their grit a flickering hope, much like the Maya's prayers to Chayak. The storm rages on the waves, still fierce, but smaller. The ship's groan, a steady pulse, and you settle against the rail. Heart still racing. The icy water dripping from your coat, trusting their endurance. James's trembling grip, Amos's iron will, to guide you through the Bermuda Triangle, one surviving breath at a time. You think back to the eerie ritual, its plea, now a partner to this battle. The sea's wrath, a test of their resolve. The thunder rolls softer, the ship's fight a steady rhythm, and you brace for what's next, the triangle's mystery far from over. You've left the storm-battered deck of the USS Cyclops behind, and now you're aboard a modern research vessel in the Bermuda Triangle. The steel deck steady beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean stretches around you on this calm morning of May 29th, 2025, at 11:23 a.m. +07. The sky above is a clear blue, the sun casting golden reflections on the gentle waves, a stark contrast to the 1918 tempest you survived, though the air still carries a faint tang of salt and the distant hum of the ship's engines. You're holding a woven grass mat, a keepsake from your journey, as you watch a team of researchers in linen tunics, their faces lit with determination, prepare to dive into the triangle's depths, seeking answers to its vanishings with sonar equipment and offerings of hope. You're about to witness their quest for truth, where modern science confronts the sea's ancient mysteries. Can you feel the anticipation of their dive? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle, spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been a focus of scientific inquiry since the 20th century, with research in 2025 using advanced sonar and submersibles to map the seafloor, seeking wrecks like the USS Cyclops, though many attribute vanishings to natural causes like rogue waves, while others still whisper of supernatural forces. You're watching the researchers, though, their equipment gleaming as they lower a sonar device into the water, its hum a steady pulse, their eyes scanning screens for signs of lost ships. Dr. Elena, a seasoned oceanographer with a bronze sextant hanging from her belt, leads the team. Her voice, a calm directive. Scan the trench. Let's find her. You're caught in their focus. The sonar's beep, a modern echo of the Cyclops' desperate navigation, a quest for clarity amidst the triangle's enigma, much like the Maya's unearthed glyphs in Tikal. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some researchers believe the triangle keeps its secrets, with tales of divers leaving offerings like shells or coins to appease the sea before a dive, a modern nod to sailors' lore. James's descendant, a young diver named Liam, tosses a small shell into the water. Now, his brass compass, a family heirloom swinging at his belt, murmuring for the lost ones. Historians still argue whether this echoes maritime superstition or as mere tradition. Can a shell unlock the sea's secrets? But dives often yield wrecks, so perhaps Liam's shell holds a ripple of ancient hope. You're standing at the ship's rail, the sonar's hum blending with the waves' gentle lap. The researchers' voices, a soft chorus as they monitor the screens, their linen tunics catching the sun's glare. Their faces a mix of hope and focus, a stark contrast to the Cyclops crew in their woolen coats. Elena adjusts her bronze sextant, a tool she uses to honor the sailors' methods, her voice steady as she directs the dive team, her notes a modern chant to the sea, seeking the Cyclops' resting place. "She's down there," she says, her tone a blend of certainty and wonder. You try listening to the sonar's beep, but it's a mystery, like the glowing waves you saw in 1918, a sound as cryptic as the Maya's cenote whispers. Picture holding Liam's shell. How does its smooth curve feel in your sun-warmed hand? The researchers' determination mirrors the Maya's resilience in their rituals, a shared quest for understanding across time. The dive team prepares their submersible, lowering into the water, its lights piercing the deep blue. You among them in spirit, your voice, a silent cheer in their mission. The ocean's calm, a fragile peace after the storm's fury. The triangle's depths, a vault of secrets, much like Tikal's abandoned ruins. Suddenly, a sonar ping spikes a sharp echo, and the team stirs. Liam's compass glinting as he leans over the screen, his voice a shout. There's something metal. The researchers gather their voices rising. Mara's notes a flurry as she marks the coordinates, her bronze sextant, a bridge to the past, tying this moment to the Cyclops' fate. You're caught in their excitement. The ocean's hum, a steady pulse, as if the sea itself whispers back a response to their offering, their quest a testament to human curiosity like the Maya's star charts. The sun shines brighter, the submersible's lights fading into the deep, and you settle against the rail. The ship's hum, a steady rhythm, the woven mat, a grounding weight in your lap, trusting their search. Liam's hopeful shell. Elena's steady command to unveil the Bermuda Triangle's secrets, one sonar ping at a time. You think back to the rogue wave's terror, its force now a distant memory. This calm, a fragile hope in the Triangle's mystery. The waves lap gently, the ship's mission a steady pulse. And you brace for what they'll find, the sea's enigma far from solved. You're still aboard the modern research vessel in the Bermuda Triangle, the steel deck steady beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean stretches around you on this calm afternoon of it is 11:28 a.m. on May 29, 2025. In the GMT+7 time zone, its deep blue waves shimmering under a clear sky, the sun casting golden flecks on the gentle swells. The air's warm, tinged with salt, and the faint hum of the ship's engines, a soft breeze rustling your linen shirt as you watch the dive team, their submersible now submerged its lights a faint glow in the depths. You're holding a woven grass mat standing beside Dr. Elena, the oceanographer, her bronze sextant glinting at her belt as she leads the sonar search for the USS Cyclops, guiding her team through the Triangle's mysteries with a steady hand. You're about to witness her leadership, a modern quest for answers amidst the sea's ancient enigma. Can you feel the weight of her determination? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle, spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been a focus of oceanographic research since the 20th century, with teams in 2025 using sonar and submersibles to to locate wrecks like the Cyclops lost in 1918, often attributing vanishings to natural causes like methane gas or rogue waves, though some still speculate on supernatural forces. You're watching Elena now, her linen tunic crisp as she monitors the sonar screen, her voice a calm command. Adjust the depth, focus on that anomaly. Her team, including Liam James's descendant with his brass compass, follows her lead, their hands steady on the controls, their eyes scanning for signs of the lost ship, a modern echo of the Cyclops' desperate navigation you witnessed. You're caught in their focus, the sonar's steady ping, a lifeline to the past, much like the Maya's sacred glyphs in Tikal, a quest for truth across centuries. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some researchers believe the triangle responds to respect, with tales of divers offering a silent prayer before a dive to calm the sea, a modern nod to sailors' rituals. Liam whispers one now, his brass compass swinging as he touches it, murmuring, "For the Cyclops guide us." Historians still argue whether this echoes maritime lore or is mere tradition. Can a prayer calm the sea? But dives often yield results after such gestures, so perhaps Liam's prayer holds a ripple of ancient hope. You're standing at the ship's helm, the sonar's ping blending with the wave's gentle lap. The researchers' voices, a focused hum as they adjust the submersible's path, their linen tunics catching the sun's glare, their faces a mix of anticipation and resolve, a stark contrast to the Cyclops crew in their woolen coats. Elena holds her bronze sextant, a tool she uses to honor the sailors' methods. Her voice steady as she directs the team to a sonar anomaly, a metallic signature, possibly a wreck. Her notes, a modern chant to the sea seeking the Cyclops' resting place. "We're close," she says, her tone a blend of certainty and wonder, echoing Ixchel's leadership in Tikal's storm. You try listening to the sonar's rhythm, but it's a mystery, like the glowing waves you saw in 1918. A sound as cryptic as the Maya's Canody whispers. Picture holding Elena's sextant. How does its bronze weight feel in your sunlit hand? The researcher's determination mirrors the Maya's resilience, a shared quest for understanding across time. The dive team watches the screens, their voices rising as the submersible's camera captures a glimpse of metal, a rusted hull, a piece of the Cyclops, you among them, in spirit your voice, a silent cheer in their mission. The ocean's calm, a fragile peace after the storm's fury. The triangle's depths, a vault of secrets, much like Tikal's abandoned ruins. Suddenly, a sonar ping spikes a sharp echo, and the team stirs, Liam's compass glinting as he leans closer. His voice, a shout. It's a ship. Definitely a ship. The researchers gather Elena's notes, a flurry as she marks the coordinates. Her bronze sextant, a bridge to the past, tying this moment to the Cyclops' fate. You lived through the rogue wave's terror. Now, a distant memory. This discovery, a testament to human persistence like the Maya's enduring legacy. The sun climbs higher, the submersible's lights piercing deeper, and you settle against the rail. The ship's hum, a steady rhythm, the woven mat, a grounding weight in your lap, trusting their search. Liam's whispered prayer, Elena's steady command to unveil the Bermuda Triangle's secrets, one sonar ping at a time. You think back to the Cyclops' failed sextant, its chaos now answered by this modern tool. The sea's enigma, slowly unraveling. The waves lap gently, the ship's mission a steady pulse, and you brace for what they'll find, the triangle's mystery far from solved, but closer to light. You've stepped away from the research vessel's deck in the Bermuda Triangle, and now you're below, in the ship's cramped mess hall, the steel walls humming softly around you as the Atlantic Ocean murmurs outside on this calm afternoon of May 29th, 2025. At 11:43 a.m. 07. The air is warm, tinged with the scent of salt and roasted fish. A faint hum of the ship's engines blending with the clink of tin mugs as the crew gathers their linen tunics, catching the dim glow of overhead lamps. You're holding a woven grass mat, sitting at a wooden table with the sailors sharing a meal of fish stew and hardtack, their laughter weaving through the hall as they bond over stories of the sea, united in their quest to unravel the Triangle's mysteries. You're about to feel the camaraderie that sustains them, a modern echo of the crews who faced the Triangle's dangers in 1918. Can you taste the warmth of their shared meal? Mainstream history notes that maritime crews from the USS Cyclops in 1918 to modern research vessels in 2025 often relied on tight-knit bonds to endure the perils of the Bermuda Triangle, with naval logs and oral histories describing shared meals as a ritual to boost morale amidst vanishings attributed to rogue waves or magnetic anomalies. You're sharing the stew now, its salty warmth filling you, the sailors passing a jug of water, their voices a lively hum as they recount tales of storms and strange sightings, their laughter a balm against the Triangle's shadow. Liam James's descendant, with his brass compass at his belt, sits beside you, grinning as he shares a story of a glowing wave he saw on a past dive, his voice bright. Thought it was a ghost ship. You're caught in their warmth. The mess hall, a sanctuary of unity, much like the Maya marketplace in Tikal. A bond forged in shared purpose. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some sailors believed sharing a meal in the Triangle warded off spirits, a tradition of passing a fishbone to the youngest crew member to ensure safe passage, a tale echoing maritime lore. Liam passes a fishbone to a young sailor. Sarah now his compass, glinting as he chuckles. "Keep us safe, kid." Historians still argue whether this was superstition or morale. Can a bone ward off danger? But crews often survived after such rituals. So perhaps Liam's fishbone holds a sliver of ancient luck. You're savoring the stew, the hardtack crumbling in your hand, the sailors' banter weaving with the engine's hum, their linen tunics a modern echo of the Cyclops' woolen coats, their faces lit with camaraderie, a stark contrast to the storm's terror you survived in 1918. Dr. Elena, her bronze sextant resting on the table, joins the meal. Her voice, a steady hum as she shares a theory about methane gas eruptions, her notes tying the discussion to the sonar pings. You heard her leadership, a modern echo of Ixchel's in Tikal's storm. "We'll find the Cyclops," she says, her tone a blend of hope and grit. You try joining the laughter, but their sea tales are a riddle, like a chant half remembered. Picture holding the fishbone. How does its delicate weight feel in your hand? The sailor's bond mirrors the Maya's marketplace unity, a shared strength against the unknown. The mess hall buzzes sailors, passing the mugs, others mending nets. Their laughter, a chorus of resilience. Children of the sea, united by the Triangle's challenge, much like the villagers who hauled Stonehenge's stones. Suddenly, a sonar ping echoes through the ship, a sharp alert, and the crew pauses Liam's compass, glinting as he stands, his voice a shout. They found something. The sailors rush to the deck. You among them. The stew, forgotten heart, racing as Elena grabs her sextant, her voice firm. Let's see it. The moment stirs a crack in the Triangle's mystery, a discovery born of their unity, echoing the Maya's communal rituals. You're caught in their excitement. The mess hall, a fleeting haven, their bond a testament to human endurance. like the Maya's marketplace trades. The ship hums louder, the deck calling, and you settle the woven mat on the table. The sailors' warmth lingering like the stew's aftertaste, trusting their unity. Liam's shared fishbone, Elena's steady lead to unveil the Bermuda Triangle's secrets, one united breath at a time. You think back to the Cyclops' desperate ritual, its plea now a partner to this modern crew's resolve, the sea's enigma closer to light. The waves lap gently outside the ship's mission, a steady pulse, and you brace for what they'll find, the Triangle's mystery unfolding step by step. You've left the warmth of the research vessel's mess hall behind, and now you're standing on the deck. Once more, the steel surface cool beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean stretches around you in the Bermuda Triangle, its deep blue waves rolling gently under a twilight sky on May 29, 2025 at 11:50 a.m. +07. The air's crisp, tinged with salt, and the faint hum of the ship's engines a soft breeze carrying the distant cry of a gull as the horizon glows with the last hues of sunset. You're clutching a woven grass mat, gazing at the empty sea where the Cyclops once sailed, a heavy quiet settling over you as you reflect on how 19th century skeptics dismissed the Triangle's enigma, reducing its vanishings to mere accidents, their doubts burying the mystery in time's tide. You're about to mourn the fading of its eerie legacy as the sea's secrets slipped into obscurity. Can you feel the weight of a forgotten tale? Mainstream history notes that by the late 19th century, after early vanishings like the USS Cyclops in 1918, many scholars dismissed the Bermuda Triangle's reputation, attributing disappearances to storms or human error, with publications like Lloyd's of London in the 1890s claiming no unusual loss rates, a skepticism that persisted until modern research in the 2020s revived interest through sonar and oceanography. You're picturing a 19th century scholar, now his quill scratching in a London office, scoffing at sea myths, his ink erasing the Triangle's terror, the sailors' rituals like the one you witnessed on the Cyclops reduced to superstition, their voices lost to time. Dr. Elena, the oceanographer, stands nearby, her bronze sextant glinting as she gazes at the sea, her voice a soft murmur. They didn't listen. You're caught in the stillness, the sea's gentle roll, a stark contrast to the storm you survived. The Triangle's mystery, a whisper, nearly silenced, much like Tikal's abandoned ruins. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some 19th century sailors believed the Triangle hid its secrets in the waves, claiming lost ships left ghost wakes, faint ripples marking their graves. A tale whispered in ports. Liam James's descendant points to a faint ripple now, his brass compass swinging at his belt, murmuring, "That's their wake, I feel it." Historians still argue whether this was imagination or observation. Could waves mark a ghost? But modern dives find wrecks, so perhaps Liam's ripple holds a shimmer of lost truth. You're leaning against the rail, the sea's whisper blending with the breeze, the researchers' voices, a distant hum as they pack their sonar equipment, their linen tunics catching the twilight glow, their modern quest a stark contrast to the 19th century dismissal. You mourn, echoing the Maya's fated chants after Tikal's fall. The Triangle wasn't just vanishings. It was a heartbeat sailors' fears, rituals, the eerie glow you saw binding them to the sea, a bond broken by skeptics' ink, their trust in logic overshadowing the sailors' lived terror. You try humming a sea shanty from the Cyclops, but it feels fragile, a note lost in the wind. Elena's sextant gleams, her gaze distant, while Liam kneels by the rail, his compass still a quiet rebellion against forgetting. The sea remembers you, whisper half joking, but the silence aches. The few researchers who remain are quiet, their tools packed, some sipping water from tin mugs, others staring at the horizon where the Cyclops vanished, their dive yielding only fragments, a rusted bolt, a sonar shadow. Yet their hope, endures a flicker against the 19th century tide. Liam places a small shell at the rail, a modern echo of the offerings you saw on the Cyclops. His hand steady, despite the mystery's weight, a gesture tying him to James's carved fish. You're struck by the act, a quiet defiance of skepticism, much like the Maya's maize offerings in their decline. The sea's hum softens its pulse muted, and you kneel beside Liam, touching the shell, searching for its warmth. Picture holding his compass. How does its brass weight feel? A gull's cry echoes a lone note in the twilight, a reminder of the battle's scars in Tikal, the sea reclaiming what sailors feared. Suddenly, a gust sweeps the deck colder, now stirring ripples across the water, and the gull takes flight. Its wings, a fading silhouette against the twilight sky. Liam flinches, his compass slipping, but he whispers, "They see us still?" As if the lost sailors linger in the wave's depths. The moment passes, but it cuts a glimpse of a world where the triangle's terror faded to myth. You're caught in the ache, yet Liam's shell. The gull's cry hold a flicker of hope. The twilight deepens, the horizon's glow fading, and you settle onto the deck, trusting these remnants, Liam's quiet faith, the sea's enduring hum, to keep the Bermuda Triangle's story alive. One fading whisper at a time. You're still on the deck of the modern research vessel in the Bermuda Triangle, the steel surface cool beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean stretches around you on this calm evening of May 29th, 2025. At 11:51 a.m. plus 07. Its deep blue waves reflecting the twilight's fading glow, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of salt, and the distant hum of the ship's engines. The sky above is a deepening indigo stars, like Sirius beginning to pierce the dusk, their light a faint echo of the ones you sought on the USS Cyclops in 1918, while the horizon glows with the last hues of sunset. You're holding a woven grass mat, standing beside the sonar equipment, its steady ping filling the air as the researchers now back from their dive analyze new data. Their voices, a mix of excitement and focus mapping the triangle's secrets with modern tools. You're about to witness the rediscovery of the triangle's enigma, where technology unveils what 19th century skeptics buried. Can you feel the pulse of their breakthrough? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle, spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, has been a focus of renewed scientific interest in the 2020s, with teams using advanced sonar submersibles and oceanographic models to locate wrecks like the USS Cyclops, lost in 1918, and Flight 19 in 1945, often attributing vanishings to methane gas eruptions or rogue waves, though some still speculate on supernatural forces as of 2025. You're watching the sonar screen now, its green glow revealing a metallic signature, a ship's hull. Possibly the Cyclops buried in a deep trench as Dr. Elena, her bronze sextant glinting at her belt, directs the team with precision. Her voice, a steady hum. Mark the coordinates, let's confirm it. You're caught in their excitement. The sonar's ping, a modern echo of the Cyclops' desperate navigation, a revival of the mystery you felt fade in the 19th century. Much like the Mayas' rediscovered glyphs in Tikal. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some researchers believe the triangle reveals its secrets to those who honor its past, with tales of divers reciting a sailor's prayer before mapping a modern nod to maritime lore. Liam James's descendant recites one, now his brass compass, passed down from his ancestor, swinging at his belt, murmuring, "For the Cyclops, show us your truth." Historians still argue whether this echoes superstition or tradition. Can a prayer guide sonar? But recent dives often yield wrecks after such gestures. So perhaps Liam's prayer holds a ripple of ancient luck. You're standing by the sonar console, the ping's rhythm blending with the wave's gentle lap, the researchers' voices, a focused hum as they analyze the data, their linen tunics catching the starlight, their faces lit with determination, a stark contrast to the 19th century skeptics who dismissed the triangle's terror. Elena holds her bronze sextant, a tool tying her to the sailor's methods, her voice steady as she confirms the wreck's outline, a collier ship, matching the Cyclops' profile, her notes, a modern chant to the sea, tying this moment to the storm you survived in 1918. "It's her," she says, her tone a blend of awe and certainty, echoing Ixchel's resolve in Tikal's storm. You try listening to the sonar's echo, but it's a mystery, like the glowing waves you saw on the Cyclops, a sound as cryptic as the Maya's Canody whispers. Picture holding Liam's brass compass. How does its ancestral weight feel in your hand? The researcher's persistence mirrors the Maya's enduring faith. A shared quest for truth across time. The team buzzes with activity, sailors prepping a submersible for a closer look, others mapping the trench's depth. You among them, in spirit. Your voice, a silent cheer in their mission, the ocean's calm, a fragile peace after the rogue wave's fury. The triangle's depths, a vault of secrets, much like Tikal's unearthed ruins. Suddenly, a sonar ping spikes a sharper echo, and the team stirs, Liam's compass glinting as he leans closer. His voice, a shout. It's cargo, coal, like the Cyclops carried. The researchers gather Elena's notes, a flurry as she marks the find, her bronze sextant. A bridge to the past, tying this moment to the Cyclops crew. James Amos, their storm-battered struggle now a sonar shadow, a rediscovery born of modern grit, like the Maya's revival through archaeology. The stars brighten the submersible's lights, piercing deeper, and you settle against the rail. The ship's hum, a steady rhythm. The woven mat, a grounding weight in your lap, trusting their search. Liam's ancestral prayer. Elena's steady command to unveil the Bermuda Triangle's secrets one sonar ping at a time. You think back to the Cyclops' starless night. Its chaos now answered by this modern light, the sea's enigma slowly unraveling. The waves lap gently, the ship's mission a steady pulse, and you brace for what they'll confirm the triangle's mystery, closer to light, a whisper of the past brought back to life. You're still aboard the modern research vessel in the Bermuda Triangle. The steel deck cool beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean stretches around you on this quiet evening of May 29th, 2025, at 11:54 a.m. Plazo 7. Its deep blue waves reflecting the starlit sky, the horizon aglow with the last traces of twilight. The air's crisp, carrying the scent of salt and the faint hum of the ship's engines. A gentle breeze rustling your linen shirt as the researchers gather around the sonar console, their voices a mix of excitement and debate, their lanterns casting a warm glow. You're holding a woven grass mat, standing beside the console where the sonar's green screen displays the Cyclops wreck, pondering the triangle's forces, magnetic storms, rogue waves, or something supernatural, a riddle that has haunted sailors and scholars for centuries. You're about to dive into the debate that keeps the triangle's mystery alive. Can you feel the tension of their unanswered questions? Mainstream history notes that the Bermuda Triangle spanning Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico has been a subject of debate since the 19th century, with vanishings like the USS Cyclops in 1918 and Flight 19 in 1945, attributed to natural causes, rogue waves, methane gas eruptions, or human error by studies in 2025. Yet some researchers and enthusiasts still propose supernatural forces, citing unexplained phenomena like compass failures and glowing waters. You're listening to the debate now. Dr. Elena, pointing to the sonar data of the Cyclops wreck, her bronze sextant glinting as she argues for methane gas as the cause, her voice steady. A gas eruption could sink a ship in seconds. Liam James's descendant counters, his brass compass swinging at his belt, his tone hesitant. But what about the lights? My great-grandfather saw them glowing. You're caught in their exchange, the sonar's ping. A steady echo of the Cyclops storm. You survived the debate, a modern echo of the Maya's questions in Tikal drought or war. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some triangle legends claim the sea sings to those who listen, a low hum, guiding researchers to wrecks, a tale whispered among modern divers like Liam. He tilts his ear to the wind. Now his compass, steady murmuring. I hear it. It's guiding us. Historians still argue whether this is imagination or phenomenon. Can the sea sing a wreck's location? But dives often yield finds after such moments, so perhaps Liam's hum holds a whisper of ancient truth. You're standing by the console, the sonar's rhythm blending with the wave's gentle lap. The researchers' voices, a lively debate under the starlit sky. Their linen tunics catching the lantern light, their faces a mix of skepticism and wonder, a stark contrast to the 19th century skeptics who dismissed the triangle's terror. Elena's notes detail methane gas eruptions, tying the Cyclops' fate to a sudden upwelling, while another researcher cites magnetic storms, like the compass failure you saw in 1918, proposing atmospheric distortions as of 2025 studies. Liam, his voice soft, suggests spirits echoing the sailors' rituals you witnessed, his belief, a nod to the glowing waves, the ghost voices James heard. You try piecing it together, but it's like weaving a codex with missing pages. A mystery as layered as the Maya's collapsed drought war or society picture, holding Liam's brass compass. How does its ancestral weight feel in your hand? The researchers' debate mirrors the Maya's resilience, a shared quest for understanding across time. The debate grows softer, the lanterns flickering as a researcher points to a sonar image, a cargo hold coal, spilling into the trench, confirming the Cyclops, but not its cause. The methane theory clashing with Liam's supernatural hunch, a divide as old as the triangle itself. Suddenly, a shooting star streaks across the sky, its arc mirroring Sirius's path you sought in 1918. And the researchers pause, Liam's compass glinting as he gasps a sign. The team murmurs their voices, a mix of awe and doubt, as if the sea itself speaks, Elena's voice cutting through. It's both and neither. You're caught in the mystery, the ocean's hum, a steady pulse, its secrets, a tapestry of nature and myth. Much like the Mayas' debated fall, drought, war, or gods, the stars brighten the horizon's glow, fading, and you settle against the rail, the debate lingering like the stars' fleeting light. Was it methane? As Elena argues, magnetic storms, as the compass showed, or spirits as Liam believes. The question's nature error or supernatural blend into the wave's song, but the triangle's enigma, carried by James's fears and Elena's quest, shines through, guiding you to wonder. You think back to the sonar's pings, their echoes a partner to this riddle. The ocean's embrace is a steady comfort, the ship's hum, a gentle rhythm, and you brace for what's next, trusting their search. Liam's quiet belief, Elena's steady logic to unveil the Bermuda Triangle's secrets, one debated whisper at a time. You're still aboard the modern research vessel in the Bermuda Triangle, the steel deck cool beneath your boots as the Atlantic Ocean stretches around you on this serene night of May 29th, 2025. At 12:21 p.m., plus 07. Its deep blue waves shimmering under a starlit sky. The horizon a faint silver where the moon kisses the sea. The air's crisp, carrying the scent of salt and the soft hum of the ship's engines. A gentle breeze whispering through your linen shirt as the researchers' lanterns dim their debates, now a quiet murmur. The sonar console's green glow fading as they pack up for the night. You're sitting on a woven grass mat near the ship's rail, the stars, Sirius Orion, shining brightly, their light a celestial echo of the ones you sought on the USS Cyclops in 1918. Reflecting on the Triangle's enduring mystery, its lessons carried in the ocean's ancient waves. Can you feel the sea's whispers settling into your dreams? Mainstream history marks the Bermuda Triangle as a maritime enigma since the 19th century, with vanishings like the USS Cyclops in 1918 and Flight 19 in 1945, fueling theories of rogue waves, methane gas, or supernatural forces. A mystery revived by 2020's research, sonar mappings, submersible dives that confirmed wrecks like the Cyclops, yet left the debate open. As of May 29th, 2025, at 12:21 p.m. plus 07. You're gazing at the stars. Now their arc's a mirror of the Cyclops' starless night. The sonar's ping's a testament to the ship you helped rediscover its coal-strewn hull. A silent witness to the storm you survived. The Triangle's legacy isn't just in its vanishings, but in the lives it shaped. James's whispered fears, Amos's gruff commands, Elena's steady quest, all weaving a tapestry of mystery that Liam's shell offering honors today. You glance at Sirius, its steady glow, a nod to the paths you've traced from 1918's terror to 2025's discovery. Here's the quirky tidbit. Some modern sailors believe the Triangle marks those who seek its truth, leaving a faint salt line on their skin as a sign of its acknowledgement. A tale Liam shares tonight, his brass compass glinting. Historians still argue whether this is folklore or phenomenon. Can the sea mark a seeker? But as you sit here on May 29, 2025, at 12:21 p.m., you're betting Liam's salt line, like James' ghost voices, ties the present to the Triangle's timeless enigma, a thread unsevered by time. You're leaning against the rail, the sea's cool touch grounding you, the jungle, no, the ocean, stretching quiet, save for a gull's distant cry. Its echo, a whisper of the sailors you've come to know. This journey began on the Cyclops' storm-battered deck, its eerie glow and spinning compass guiding you to a starless night. A desperate ritual and a rogue wave's terror, each moment revealing the Triangle's mystery. A force of nature, a trick of the sea, or something beyond. You joined Elena's modern quest, her sonar pings and Liam's shell offerings unearthing the Cyclops, their debates, methane magnetic storms, or spirits echoing the Maya's questions into call. A shared search for meaning across centuries. The Triangle teaches bravery, like Amos's iron grip on the wheel, curiosity, like James's trembling sketches, and the unknown's allure, as its secrets remain a lesson as timeless as the waves. Picture holding Liam's brass compass. How does its ancestral weight anchor you? The researchers rest their voices. A soft hum. Elena's bronze sextant resting on the console, tying her work to James's navigation, while Liam places a shell at the rail. His whisper, a prayer for the lost, echoing James's carved fish in 1918. You're struck by the continuity, not just the sea, but the spirit, daring to sail, to seek to endure across generations. The night deepens the stars' light, a celestial hymn, echoing the rituals, the storms, the debates under the tent. Let the ocean's embrace cradle you, its quiet a promise of rest, the waves lapping gently as they have for centuries. Drift now, the world fading your breath, slowing with the sea's sigh. Rest on this deck, where history and mystery meet, and let the Bermuda Triangle's legacy carry you into sleep's embrace, a saga of wonder and light. Thank you truly for joining me through every emotion, every turn, every moment of this journey. It's been an adventure, and I'm grateful to share it with you. As we close this tale, I wish you a peaceful evening. May you have a restful night, deep sleep, and dreams filled with wonder and light. Rest well, you've earned it. And when you're ready for the next story, I'll be here waiting to journey with you again. Before you go, if you loved this tale, please leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what moved you, surprised you, or lingers with you long after the story ends. Until we meet again, good night, and see you in the next adventure.